This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And tonight from Busch Stadium in St. Louis, it's game number 2. The Pittsburgh Pirates and the St. Louis Cardinals. Last night, our Nissan drive of the game midway through, Cardinals second baseman Colton Wong against Ivan Nova. His first of the year, 7th career home run against the Pirates, and the Cardinals eventually won the ball game 2-1. And with Jim Edmonds, the Cardinals Hall of Famer, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes is here as well. We turn the page on Game 1 and look ahead to tonight. The lineup needs to get going, and Randal Grichuk will bat cleanup. And Grichuk was big last night in Game 1.
Yeah, he was. We got a little glimpse of what we know he can be, and that was everything last night. We had a little bit of defense, a little bit of offense, and a little bit of base running, and this is the thing that the Cardinals are looking for. Getting this guy in the lineup and getting him in a positive mode gets him every aspect of the game, and he can beat you with all these different weapons. Like we said, just being able to get on base and stealing this base right here in an overthrow and going to third and scoring on a base hit to center field.
That made it 2-1, and Randal Grichuk is our BJC Healthcare difference maker. Tonight, it's a pair of right-handers. Chad Cole will go for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Meanwhile, for the Cardinals, it's Mike Leake. And so far for Leake, nothing short of sensational. His third start of the year is coming up. It's the Pirates and Cardinals on Fox Sports Midwest. 9 hits tonight. You're invited into Krispy Kreme tomorrow and receive a dozen of their original glazed donuts for only $3.99. Stop by one of the 5 St. Louis area Krispy Kreme locations or the locations in Bloomington or Springfield, Illinois for this sensational deal. It's a good matchup here tonight for the Cardinals. It is Mike Leake. He's made 2 starts, 15 innings. He's given up just 1 earned. 1 walk. He has struck out 13. He was so good last time out. At one point, he retired 19 in a row against Washington. Big crowd expected. Beautiful weather. It's game 2. Pirates, Cardinals coming up. Working on the mound as he'll try to improve to 2-1 tonight here from Busch Stadium. Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Bud Light, famous among friends. By Academy Sports and Outdoors, proud sponsor of the St. Louis Cardinals. By Chevy Silverado, the most dependable, longest lasting, full-size pickups on the road. Find yours at your local Mid-America Chevy dealer. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. We had over 40,000 here last night. Another big crowd expected this evening. The weather is perfect. Glad that you're with us, along with Jim Edmonds, the Cardinals Hall of Famer. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes is here as well. And a look at our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. 0.60 ERA. He went 8 innings in his first start against his former team, the Cincinnati Reds. Last time out, 7 scoreless against Max Scherzer and the Nats. Retired 19 in a row at one point after allowing back-to-back singles to start the game. Adam Frazier will lead it off, followed by Josh Harrison and Andrew McCutchen. Gregory Polanco nursing a sore right groin. He's thrust into the lineup because of the news of the day for Clint Hurdle and his club. More on that in a moment. Then David Freese, Francisco Cervelli, Josh Bell, Jordy Mercer, and Chad Kuhl. And the first pitch by Leake to Frazier is a fly ball lifted to Dexter Fowler. 1 pitch, 1 out. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Randall Grichuk, a couple of fine plays at left field in game 1. Dexter Fowler, Stephen Piscotty, that trio in the outfield. Greg Garcia, Aledmys Diaz, Colton Wong, and Jose Martinez on the infield. And Yadier Molina is behind the plate for Mike Matheny's club, trying to make it 2 wins in a row. Here's Josh Harrison. His last 5 plate appearances, he's been hit 4 times. Twice last night, twice on Sunday, and already 6 times total this year. Backhanded nicely there by Garcia. 2 away. I thought one of the stories of the game last night for the Cardinals, Jimmy, was the defense of the Cardinals. Garcia, a couple of nice plays. We mentioned Grichuk, and also the pitching of that man, Lance Lynn.
Well, we saw last night that all facets of the game were letting them down. Reason why they had the record that they had. And then last night, capped off by some really nice plays by Randall. What they can be like if they play good defense, get some good pitching, and timely hitting.
That's the formula, isn't it?
It is. It's no secret.
A strike to Andrew McCutchen. Lynn last night never saw a Pirate get to third base. 7 innings, 3 hits. And a game that lasted 2 hours and 14 minutes. A quick game last night. And quickly, 0-2 on McCutchen. Now he's in center field tonight. The big story around baseball, Starling Marte, 80-game suspension for performance-enhancing drugs. They've called up Jose Ozuna from AAA Indianapolis, who is ranked as the 28th best prospect in the Pirates farm system. Just missed on the outside corner. 2-2. McCutchen has hit safely in 8 straight games. 2-2 pitch into center field. That'll drop in front of Fowler. Plays a very deep center field.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks. Looked like he may have gotten that off the end of the bat.
A little bit. He's got such a short swing that that ball gets away from him. He doesn't really go out and get that pitch as well as people may think. But if you get it closer to him, he's going to hammer it. He swung the bat pretty good last night and tonight for a guy they've been kind of down on and had a rough year last year. I think his numbers weren't awful offensively, but the defensive struggles really magnifies everything else. And I think he's going to be that type of player. Can you be an MVP type player every year? No. But can you do your job and better than most? Yeah, I'm sure he can.
Here's Gregory Polanco. Little chopper softly hit to first. Martinez takes it himself. Pirates strand a runner. We played a half inning. The Cardinals coming up in the home half of the first, and there's no score. West is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, proud sponsor of the St. Louis Cardinals, and by your local St. Louis area Volkswagen dealers. Back in St. Louis and Busch Stadium. Glad that you're with us wherever you may be. We hope you enjoy Cardinals baseball here tonight. Dexter Fowler, the switch hitter, leads it off, followed by Aledmys Diaz and then Steven Piscotty. Randall Grichuk, Yadier Molina, Jose Martinez, Greg Garcia, Colton Wong, and Mike Leake. The pitcher tonight is Chad Kuhl. Spells his last name K-U-H-L, pronounced Cool. And this will be his third start of the year. Fowler 0 for his last 7. Average has dipped to 132. Now, he did have a couple of hard hit balls yesterday.
Talked to him yesterday, said hi to him today. Says he's feeling a lot better at the plate. Corrected a lot of the things he was doing wrong. And he said, I'm getting there. With a big smile, gave me a little fist bump. He's like, I'm getting there. You could tell last night his swings were a lot better. He was a lot more compact and he was staying behind the ball.
Lined out to center, then it's second, and drives this one out to deep right field. Frazier is back, and it's off the base of the wall. Gets away from him. Fowler to second, racing to third with a leadoff triple, standing up. Long strides of Dexter Fowler.
This is what we call getting there in the big leagues. See, he stays behind that ball a little bit better and drives it. The thing he was doing earlier in the season, his body was getting out in front over his front leg, and that same pitch he wasn't able to drive. He was coming up through it, topping it, hitting a ground ball, maybe popping it up or even missing it.
So a leadoff triple, and it brings in Diaz. First baseman is in on the grass, and Diaz hacks at the first pitch and pops it foul. Aledmus leads the Cardinals in hits, home runs, and doubles, despite the fact that he's 0 for his last 14. The Cardinals come in as a team collectively batting .209, which is last in the major leagues. Popped up to the right side. Looks to be playable. Bell is over and puts it away for the first out. Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers around the horn. Polanco in left, McCutchen in center, and Frazier is in right. Freeze, Mercer, Harrison, and Bell on the infield, and Cervelli is behind the plate. The team leader in RBIs is at the plate. That's Stephen Piscotty. And he has a knack for coming through in this position. Hit .368 with runners in scoring position a year ago. This year he's at .417.
He just
with
got
one
a
out,
gift.
They draw the infield in.
He just got a gift from Diaz right there, giving him a chance to drive this run in. I was going to say, as Aledmus was walking back, that's one of the worst feelings as a player, when you got an easy opportunity to drive in a run for you and your team. Popping up that ball is just a frustrating situation for you as a hitter, and then the on-deck hitter is like, wow, I just got a gift. I got a chance to do that. I got a guy on third now with one out. All you're trying to do is just hit a lazy fly ball into the outfield, enough to get Dexter home.
A lot of teams have been busting, at least early on here, busting Piscotty inside. We'll see him make that adjustment. You see what he's done with runners in scoring position. Leadoff triple by Fowler, standing at third with one out. The 0-2.
You mentioned that Piscotty's been getting pitched in a lot. I've noticed over the last 4 or 5 years that this team in Pittsburgh has done a really good job early in the year of challenging the Cardinals hitters inside and getting them off their game, and which is setting up something for later in the season when they start to go away with the slider and get more pitching available. It makes it tough on the hitters because you want to speed up and hit that ball out of the ballpark. Sometimes get you in a slump early on in the season.
2-2 the count, laid off that slider. Cool, 1 run in 6 1/3 against the Red Sox last time out. Took a no decision. An eventual 4-3 loss. Did not walk a batter after he walked 6 in his season debut against Atlanta. The 2-2. Little check swing. Bell charges to the plate. Save! Fowler running on contact. And Piscotty, excuse me, swing an RBI, and it's 1-0 Cardinals.
You see right here, they're trying to get him in again. And just in a little excuse me check swing, Dexter Fowler does an amazing job right here of saving Piscotty, but saving the Cardinals, getting a great jump. I don't know so much on contact, but he did get a pretty good jump. Infield was in. What a great run to score right there in the first inning. Get on the board.
Really good base running there by Fowler. Here's Grichuk in the cleanup spot. So the RBI by Piscotty, his 9th this year. And a pitch in the dirt to Randall. Grichuk last night 2 for 3, stolen base, runs scored, as we highlighted his night in the open. You've said it time and again, this kid has all the tools. Can he put it all together though? The 1-0.
From what I saw last night, I think he's starting to put it together. He's been working on stuff, trying to figure out his swing. He's still young. I mean, he's only been in the big leagues a couple years. There's still a lot to work on. But talking to Mabes before the game, they've been working on certain things. And I said last night he looked like a different player. And he said, yep, it's starting to come together with the thought process and the ability at the plate. And it's a struggle. It really is. The struggle is not just correcting your swing. It's not golf. You know, you just can't go out there and say, okay, I'm going to change my swing today. And then as soon as you get pitched a different way than you're thinking, now all of a sudden your mind's on what's going on in the mound and you forget your swing. So it takes some time. And what I saw last night was impressive. A lot shorter, a lot better idea at the plate.
The 1-1 pitch. Let's see if the Cardinals want to do a little running against Cervelli. They had the stolen base last night. He's already allowed 15 stolen bases when he's been behind the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Randall Grichuk. Went with the fastball and he struck him out. Good fastball at 96. The Hyundai pitch arsenal, the sinker, slider, fastball, change. Like many pitchers, when he's getting ground balls, that usually means he's right. A lot of fly balls, those turn into home runs, turns into issues.
Just the difference between being down in the zone and up in the zone. You saw that velocity right there is pretty good. Most of these guys want to live with moving the ball around down in the zone, getting through the hitters in early counts.
A strike to Yadier Molina. Molina is 2 RBIs away from his brother Benji, all-time at 711. And that would be 19th all-time by a Puerto Rican-born player in the big leagues. Left side, freeze to Josh Harrison. It was a check swing. Piscotty put it in play, and some tremendous base running by Dexter Fowler. Diving in head first, and a happy bench. 1-0 after 1. Carpenter potentially could pinch hit in this game tonight as David Freese digs in with more on that. Let's check in with Jim.
Dan, not a pleasant sight, that ring finger on the right hand of Matt Carpenter. He bruised it Sunday night, nearly tore the nail off while fielding a ground ball. We had Matt on the pregame show, and Matt told us he didn't take BP today, probably won't play tonight, so he doesn't aggravate anything because he plans on being in the starting lineup tomorrow. I asked him if there was a chance we'd see him wearing a batting glove tomorrow. He told me absolutely not. And Dan, Matt also talked about the Cardinals' plan to keep him at first base as much as possible. He said if that's what they want to do, he said, I've never been a guy to say play me here or play me there. I'll play wherever they want me. They just want him back in the lineup, Dan.
And Jimmy, didn't John Mozeliak say yesterday everything is on the table to get this team right?
Yeah, he was talking about some possible player moves and whether or not they would look to Memphis. And he said, you know, looking to Memphis at this point in the season, he didn't see anything that would dramatically change the direction of the team right now, Dan. All
right, Jimmy, thanks. One guy that has given Leak a lot of fits in his career is at the plate, David Freese. 15 for 28. That's a .536 average, a home run and 3 doubles. 3-2 pitch. High chopper, Leak, nice play. Off the mound. One away. Hyundai pitch arsenal with Mike Leake. All kinds of different pitches he can bring to you. And Mike Matheny was saying before the game, what we're seeing this year with Mike Leake, multiple locations with excellent location and pitches. So he's able to spot each one of those pitches that you're just looking at that Hyundai pitch arsenal.
You saw there was a lot of pitches there, and the ability to be able to throw all those pitches for a strike is what gives hitters fits, and that's what he's been doing this year so far.
Francisco Cervelli reached base safely in all of his starts, 11 this year. His on-base percentage in 2016 was .371, best among all catchers.
And you see right there, all those pitches are great, but that special weapon, that sinker, allows him to throw that breaking ball right there when guys are looking inside, having to speed up. Sinker, 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 and you start to get a little cheat, a little happy, and then that slider, that breaking ball is just that much more effective.
Tom B, our esteemed director, going tight on the right hand, the top hand of Cervelli. We talked about it a little bit last night. He dealt with a break, and it never really recovered, and it's swollen all the time. There's that ground ball. Of the 5 outs he's gotten, 4 have been on the ground. Toyota key to the game.
Don't change a thing for Mike Leake. I was just about to say before this, the defense better be ready, but Mike's been doing a great job keeping the ball down, moving it around, getting ground balls. And tonight on the infield, this is a night you want to be out there. You know you're going to get the ball. It better be ready, better be on your toes. It'll be a fun night for those guys.
Brings in the switch hitting Josh Bell, 2 for 4 last night. And he looks at strike one. Came into this series 1 for his last 18. They've got high hopes for this young man, one of their top young prospects. Outfield is deep and straight away. Cardinals this year have been taking not extra BP but extra D before games. Extra PFP, the pitcher's fielding practice. And today it was all about being around the bag at second base. And Mike Matheny telling us as much as it is about repetition, he said we're also talking about situations too. We've gotten away from that at times. As Bell hits a ground ball foul to Martinez.
Situations come up during the year that don't necessarily come up in spring training or on the practice field, and something randomly would just pop up in a game, and you'll have to sit down and talk about it because it will throw a team as a group for a loop and make sure the communication is done correctly.
It's Mike Schilt there talking. He is the quality control coach of the Cardinals. That spot added this year to the staff. And the 2-2. Ground ball left side. Tough play. Diaz, long throw. Oh, what a play. Aledmys Diaz. They had the shift on, had to go back to his normal spot, and he made the play. And it's another ground ball out for Mike Leake. Cardinals baseball, stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Get Cardinals home screen icons, app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcast, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today. Jose Martinez, a 5-game hitting streak, and is 7 for 15 to start the year. This guy's been fun to watch.
He's done a great job so far. Not a whole lot of at-bats, but every time he gets out there, he's putting his at-bats together.
Slicing down the right field line and out of play.
If I'm not mistaken, last year when he was up, he was doing the same thing. Just consistent, smooth, good idea at the plate. Great weapon to have off the bench.
And a souvenir for that young fan. Oh, 0-2 pitch, misses outside. He started playing first base last year at AAA under Mike Schilt. His natural position is right field. He can play left as well. And a drive into deep left center. McCutchen on the move and makes the catch. The big story, former Cardinal Matt Holliday. Watch this one. The second longest home run in baseball so far this year. 459 feet. 113 miles an hour plus off the bat. The Yankees have won 8 straight. We saw Holliday play over the weekend in Game 1 against St. Louis. Dealt with some lower back issues. And a strike to Greg Garcia. Matt saying over the weekend too he'd like to play at least one more year, and then after that reevaluate. Sometimes that decision is made for you.
Sometimes it is, but when you hitting balls like that, I think he's got some time left to make that decision.
Find a job, huh?
Yeah. Holy moly.
Garcia, third consecutive start, puts it in play, chops it to Freeze. We saw McCutchen make that catch in center. Again, Marte suspended. And defensive run saved. Andrew McCutchen minus 28. Worst for any player at any position And defensive run saves measures the number of runs a player saved or cost his team on defense relative to an average player. We don't see him every day, and I just find that hard to believe.
Most unbelievable stat I've ever heard as far as baseball with that guy. Like, you just saw him run down that ball in the gap. I thought Martinez's ball was going to be in the gap for a double. He chased it down, but I don't know. That's hard for me to believe.
Colton Wong with a home run last night. 7th career shot against Pittsburgh. 2 balls and a strike.
Hopefully for McCutchen right now, he's got a second chance at going out there and being the center fielder, which is basically the captain on the field out there, and make the best out of it. You hate to see him decline and have that kind of a stat behind his name.
Here's a 2-1 into center. McCutchen puts that one away. Little easier than the ball that he had to track down off the bat of Martinez. They shaded him to right center. A long way to go for McCutchen, and he put it away for the out. One hit aside as Mike Leake goes back to work. Throwing out our ceremonial first pitch tonight, Rick Ankiel. And that was a look at his numbers as a hitter, position player, as he reinvented himself and got back to the big leagues. And one of the great stories, not just in baseball, but in sports. He has a new book out, The Phenomenon. He is selling that book and signing here at the ballpark. And I got to tell you, it's great to see you always back here in St. Louis.
Oh, it's always so good to be back and fun to be up here with you and Jimmy.
This is like home to you, isn't it?
It is like home. It is. You know, at some point here, I might move back.
Really?
Yeah.
Florida boy that loves to fish.
No way. No way.
No chance.
During the season.
Too much
hey,
water.
if I get enough games working with you guys.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Sneak
You're
on
already
in.
going for the games.
He's already trying to bust us out.
He's trying to take your job, Jimmy.
What, we can't share?
Yeah, we can share.
Here's a 2-1 pitch, and now 2-2 on Jordy Mercer. Well, let's start with the book. Why did you want to write a book? I mean, it's one of the great stories ever.
Yeah, I realized that I can help people. And when I went through the throwing issues and all that, you know, I couldn't find literature on it. Nobody wanted to talk about it. Well, hey, look, I made it back, pitched successfully in 04 and out of the bullpen that last month. Played successfully as an outfielder. Why not share my story and be able to help other people who are going through similar things?
And the reaction to the book?
Has been outstanding. Even though the book was just launched today, with the amount of interviews that I've done, I've had so many people come up and say, hey, listen, I went through something similar, whether it be the throwing issues that I had or the yips, the monster, or just coming from a dysfunctional home. And, you know, the response has been, hey, you know, it helped me by hearing your story, and thank you for sharing it.
And I've read the book. I commend you for everything you've done with it. It's not easy to come out and all of a sudden, you know, pour your heart out on a personal level with family and also what you dealt with as we get a look at Chad Kuhl, the pitcher here to sacrifice. But what I loved about seeing tonight, your two little boys out there as they watched you throw that first pitch.
Oh, that was so cool. You know, just a bonding moment for us. You know, they weren't old enough to remember me playing. So for them to be able to walk out there with me out on the mound, you know, here at Busch Stadium, and now we'll have those pictures together forever. It's so neat.
We were kidding in spring training because I knew this day was coming.
Yep.
I said, are you going to throw a first pitch, or are you going to go out to center field and, like, you know, just throw a bullet back home?
That was the big joke, you know, and everybody kind of wanted me to throw it from center, but then I kind of felt like that would be a circus act. And I was mentioning to you before, it's not a secret. I don't like the distance from the mound to home, but after revealing everything in the book, I mean, who cares if I throw one away?
You know, people are wondering how it happened. Let's start with that part of it. What happened on the mound in that fateful day against the Atlanta Braves?
You know, I threw one pitch that really wasn't that bad of a pitch. It was an inside fastball that cut, and Carlos Hernandez missed it. And, you know, something just set with me that I just felt like, hey, I just threw a wild pitch on national TV. And I kind of pushed it aside. I didn't think much of it. And then, you know, a couple pitches later, it just seemed like things started to unravel. And me being as young as I was, I really didn't have any idea what was going on. You know, even after the game, during the media interview, I said, you know, hey, it's a mechanical issue and this will never happen again. But I had no idea how deep and how dark this was going to be and what the next 4 years of my life was going to look like.
And you get in also to the personal side of growing up with a father that was very tough on you, as we see Kuhl square to bunt and looks at a ball. And this is also why I think it's also a sports book, but can help those that have been from a tough upbringing, which you had obviously with your father.
That's right. I mean, plenty of people have come from a dysfunctional home, and you add that, and then, you know, I share my story about with the yips and the monster, and you know, for me, it's about saying, hey, look, everybody, some people, not everyone, but people come from things that you can't control, and that doesn't mean that you can't continue to go on and live your dreams and have a successful and happy life.
A bunt. Martinez will flip to Wong at first base. So if you missed it, here it is. This is Rick Ankiel out there with his two little boys, and catching that ceremonial first pitch is Mike Matheny, who you may recall blamed himself for what happened that day because he was hurt with the hunting knife.
Right.
But this is what I remember.
These are some good ones. Willie Taveras there on second.
Of all people, too.
Of all people. But
the
you know,
fastest guy in the league.
I know when it got hit to me, I had that feeling. I know you've had this before. Like, you know what? No, I got you. You're not going on this one.
Mike Helling, our producer, was showing this before the game, and I said to Jimmy, I said, watch this one. And he said, I cannot believe that.
That was awesome. I wish I would have shot air guns or pulled out a fake laser or fake something out there. I couldn't. I was so excited I couldn't do it.
Well, so is the bench. The reaction to Chris Duncan there is priceless.
You can tell how impressive that throw was by the way the bench was reacting. They knew there was something there.
Yeah. That was so cool.
That was special.
Yeah, every time I watch the highlights, the best part is watching the bench go crazy.
Troy Gloss, I noticed too, gave you that ball. You came off and he gave you the ball. You still have it?
Yeah, yes.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And what did Tony say to you after that?
Hey, that was a great throw. Don't ever effing do it again.
Don't overthrow the cutoff man.
Not the one to third, but the one when Willie was on second.
Right.
I should have thrown it to second to keep the guy from getting into scoring position.
And what makes your story amazing is that you reinvented yourself as an outfielder. I want to ask you how influential Jimmy was for you in trying to come back.
Oh, huge. I mean, just not just from picking Jimmy's brain, but getting a chance to watch Jimmy play day in and day out. And I've said this before, I just feel like he was ahead of his time. There wasn't all these shifts and things didn't happen as much back then, but he always had a reason of like, hey, this is why I'm playing this guy here, and this is why I'm playing him here, and this counts, and that, and that. You know, the first day I made the switch, I walk over to Jimmy's locker and say, hey, what do you think? He's like, well, first of all, welcome to the dark side. Second of all, I think you're going to need this. And he gives me an outfielder's glove, and then he gave me this little small glove, little training glove, and was like, hey, you shag enough balls with this, and your big club's going to feel like a butterfly net. So,
Jimmy, what did you think when it happened? As we see a fly ball into shallow left, Grichuk under it. But they tell you guys, Rick Ankiel, who is one of the great young left-handers that baseball has seen, and oh, by the way, he's done with that. He's now going to be an outfielder.
Well, he knows this story. Selfishly, I wanted to keep pitching because I know I was watching probably the future of one of the best left-handed pitchers ever. And that was what was so hard to watch because I knew how good he was on the mound. And then he transitioned. I knew he could do it. I didn't know how good he was going to be, but I knew he could do it. And for him to go out there and do what he did, and then obviously things that this is magical. He comes up and hits a home run the first game and then goes on from there. But just a special talent, a special young man at the time. I think you were 19, I was 30. And when I just got over here, his rookie season was amazing. And just to build on that, go through what he went through. And we would sit on the road at dinner, long nights, talking about him growing up, what he's gone through, things that were still going on in his life when he would go home in the offseason, and just really just try to bond as a group. And I think that bond helped a lot. You know that when you were coming back, you knew you had a place. Those guys were amazing to him and to me and to everyone else. So I think this organization was so instrumental in him coming all the way back.
We showed you just moments ago, for those at home that don't remember, that was your first home run back. So you're back. That's the first game. The Padres are here, and you hit that home run as Harrison lifts a high fly ball out to deep right. Just enough room, Piscotty. Rick Ankiel's going to stay with us for the bottom of the third. The book, The Phenomenon, available at all major bookstores and online. Having some fun with Rick Ankiel. Is 16 and older. Take home an exclusive Bruce Sutter Guardian Gnome. For more information and to buy tickets, visit cardinals.com/promotions. I want to go back to the first pitch. Mike Matheny, normally, let's set this up. You're the guy that throws out the first pitch to a player that's in uniform now, whomever that may be, and they get the ball signed by that player or whoever's catching that ball. But Mike Matheny says, no. I want the ball back. You sign it to me.
Yeah, you signed it to me. And I was like, wait a second. I'm supposed to be getting it signed from you. And then I almost didn't want to give it to him because I didn't have enough time to write what I really wanted to write on there.
Mike Leake with a fly ball. Right center. McCutchen is over and makes the catch. Back in center, and what a play that was.
That's what we were talking about right there. A second chance. Everything's been written all winter long about how he struggled. He's going to have to go out there and prove himself. And tonight, right now, he's got a couple good jumps on some balls that he had to track down in the gap. We know it's there. I don't know what happened last year, but it'd be interesting to see how he responds.
Are you thinking about a movie? I know it's got to be out there.
Yeah, definitely. I think if we can find the right group, the first thing is, first things first, let the book come out now. And that way, my story's out there in my words, because we all know what Hollywood does. And they'll make the movie their own version to sell movies, which is understandable. So if we can find the right group in the right situation, I think a movie would be pretty cool.
We were talking about the first home run that you hit, and then we had the quick out. But I want to go back to it. So you're back in the big leagues. You hit the home run that first game back as Fowler looks at ball 2. Can you even describe what was it like running around the bases?
If I could bottle that feeling up and sell it, we'd be billionaires. It was the most amazing thing ever. It's funny because Doug Brokaw was on the mound with a 2-1 slider, and I kind of button hooked it. We call that walking the dog like a yo-yo, kind of one hand, but I knew I got enough. the most amazing, magical moment, that you could ever. It made all that fighting, all the work I had done to get back to the league, that moment made all of it worth it right there. And then later on, when I played for the Astros, Doug
he was a pitching coach.
He was our pitching coach,
right.
So I never let that moment go down when he was out there trying to talk to the pitchers.
3-0 to Fowler. He's swinging away, and a fly ball lifted out to center. McCutchen again. Jimmy, I saw you shaking your head over there with that.
I was
home
just
run.
laughing because I know his personality. When he was running around second, even though it was a great moment, he was probably thinking to himself, I knew I could do this.
I was like, that just happened.
Yeah, that's how talented I am, by the way.
So you decide not to play, or rather pitch, and you're retired for about 4 hours. And
yes.
Apparently the Cardinals and your agent, Scott Boras, call and say, by the way, you're not done.
Yeah, I didn't find this out until a couple years ago when we were writing the book. Apparently, Scott had already talked to Walt and the Cardinals, and they were on board for me trying to be an outfielder, but they were like, he has to get to the point where he doesn't want to pitch by himself. We can't make that decision for him. The way Scott played it to me was, he called and was like, hey, are you ready to go play? And this is the same day I just retired from pitching.
Did you even get out of the locker room?
I was at home on the couch, and it's funny because I already felt like this giant weight was lifted off me.
Sure.
As much of a grind as it was to try to pitch successfully. I'm like, wait a second here. I just fell out of love with baseball. I need some time to think about this. So if you fast forward, I'm trying to visualize what this is going to look like and what I think it's going to be. I started getting really excited about it. Now I'm in my living room taking dry swings, picturing myself hitting a home run in the big leagues. I called back, and I was like, I'm in 100%.
And that was it.
That was it. He's like, let me call Walt. And Walt called me and said, we're in also. Show up tomorrow. You're an outfielder.
Unbelievable.
The funny thing is there was some rumblings. They were like, keep it down, let him figure it out. But we kind of knew that was going to happen if he agreed.
Nobody let me in on the fun, though.
Yeah, they let you suffer through all of it. Rick, awesome to see you.
Yeah, it's great to be seen. Thanks, guys.
Get you in the booth some
great
more.
seeing you, man. Thank you.
A hug, and then, hey, give me that ball. Matheny wanted the ball. Rick happily signed. 1-0 after 3. Blues live tomorrow as McCutchen puts it on the ground to third, and the play is made. Game 4 tomorrow night against the Wild. Coverage begins at 8. Blues postseason on Fox Sports Midwest and streaming on Fox Sports Go. Blues looking for the sweep tomorrow night. We'll have it for you right here on Fox Sports Midwest. Let's check in with Jim Hayes.
Yeah, I'm with Joel Edmondson, taking a little baseball in tonight. Tomorrow going for the sweep against the Wild. It's been a good series so far. What's gone right for you guys?
Yeah, it's been fun. A lot of stress. It's a lot of close games, but they're a good team over there. So we're looking forward to tomorrow night, and hopefully we can close it out. But we know they're going to bring their best game, so we're looking forward to it.
How good has Jake Allen been?
Yeah, he's been unbelievable. He's been standing on his head every game, and we're trying to limit the chances that the Wild get, but you know, when they get those chances, he's always there.
And you, the scoring as well. You got a couple of goals at the game winner in overtime. You've been waiting for this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where it came from. The first one, the puck kind of just found me, and I had a wide open net. And then second goal, just lots of bodies were in front of the goal, so I just tried to get it on net. And you know, sometimes good things happen.
Whatever worked. So you guys had a coaching change or a couple of bad stretches for you guys, and all of a sudden you get hot down the stretch and into the playoffs. What turned things around?
I'm not really sure. You know, we had a good road trip one time, and we just kept on rolling from that. But yeah, you know, Yossi, he's been good behind the bench. He's a player's coach. He likes to interact with us. So so far it's been good, and we're looking forward to the future. Last thing,
Blues fans are crazy. Cardinals fans are crazy. Blues in the playoffs right now. How great has the support been?
It's been unbelievable. The whole city's buzzing right now. You can tell it's a hockey town. They love their sports. You know, it's almost a sold-out game here tonight at the baseball diamond. So it's good to see the city like their sports.
Well, thanks for the time, and good luck tomorrow. Hopefully you guys get the sweep.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, Joe and Danny.
All right, Jim, good stuff. Coverage begins at 8 tomorrow here on Fox Sports Midwest Day Baseball. We'll have that for you. And then Blues hockey tomorrow night. Here's a big Blues fan at the plate. That's St. Louis native David Freese. Grounded back to Mike Leake, first time up. Boy, was that fun with Ricky and Keel.
It's been fun since 2000 with Ricky and Keel. Still good friends today, and it was fun to watch. It was. Like I said, I'm not going to lie, I was disappointed he switched because we were watching something special there that first year, and selfishly, I was really disappointed I wasn't going to get to watch him become one of the best and dominant left-handers in the league. But you know, things don't work out that way, and they end up working out for a different reason. And I'm happy he's happy, and things are great.
Little chopper, tapped foul. And the 1-2 is taken down and in. 4 pitches this at bat. David Freese has been averaging close to 6 pitches per plate appearance, and that does give you an idea of how well he's seeing the ball.
He's doing a really good job of being still at the plate.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Saw that time, and again too. Loves to go the other way. Puts it in the gap in right center. Freese will stop at second base.
David does just a good job of staying inside the ball, but I think when you watch the game or games in general and you see a guy take a pitch on sinker on the inner half without really flinching, he's got a good idea of what he's looking for. And right there, ball kind of middle, stays inside and just drives the ball and to his strength up the other way and for a double.
Tomorrow night, by the way, Rick will be signing at Left Bank Books, which is in Clayton, so he'll be there and conducting a Q&A and then signing some of those books. So the tying run in scoring position. And here is Francisco Cervelli. At one point, Cervelli in 2005 with the Yankees was struggling so mightily, the Yankees actually asked him to hang it up and become a coach. And he said, no, I'm not ready to do that yet. And last May, he signed a 3-year extension with the Pirates.
You're like, okay, please release me now.
Right. Two outs, runners in scoring position. He's 0 for 4. This spot, David Freese at second base. And the 0-2. What's been overshadowed a bit last night and again tonight, the Cardinals with only 1 hit this evening. Last night, not a lot of offense, but the pitching's been so good, you don't talk about that.
And the pitching was good in the first series that we did together, and I think that, you know, when you're not scoring a lot of runs like for example, last night with Grichuk, when you got to use your athletes to get out there and do some damage when they get a chance. If you're not getting a lot of hits and not scoring a lot of runs, you get a chance to score a run, you have to score it. Take advantage of miscues and overthrown balls, and like I said, use the speed, use the movement, manufacture a run here and there until you can kind of get your head above water and start playing a little bit better.
Crowd comes alive, and now time is called. For the Pirates, their big story today, Starling Marte, the 80-game suspension. As a player, you come to the ballpark, you hear that. How demoralizing is that when you've got one of the better center fielders in the game that's now going to miss significant time?
I mean, it's got to be tough. I would think it's tough. I mean, you take a big, huge piece out of your team and just basically lose him. No injury, no nothing, just poof, gone. But hope there's a deeper story to that, or you got some bad information or something, because I can't imagine these days taking anything that would put yourself in jeopardy.
Easy play for Mike Leake, and another ground ball out. We're midway through 4. Cardinals on top by a run. Bud Light, famous among friends. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals Magazine celebrating its 25th anniversary. And as a thank you to fans, you can subscribe and receive 2 free tickets. Order now at 314-345-9000 or cardinals.com/magazine. Nice cover story on Matt Carpenter, this month's issue.
They don't call that the program anymore.
Well, you do get a program if you come. Then you get the scorecard.
My wife said something came in the mail from the stadium, and I said, is it about the size of a magazine? Not even thinking. And she said, yes. I said, it's the program. She goes, what's a program?
She didn't know.
Well, I was like, obviously it's a magazine. I was saying the program, thinking it was, I just had it all messed up. But
did you keep score as a kid? You go to the ballpark?
No, I did not. I still can't keep score. I'm good at copying right off of you.
It'll work. There's McCutchen. You know, we've been talking about McCutchen and defensive runs saved, and one of the issues a year ago wasn't so much getting to balls. You know, there was some of it, but most of it was throwing. But I'm with you, Jimmy. I mean, the eye test, sometimes you got to look at that too. And he has been such a good player in his career, former MVP. And now it looks like he's going to get the bulk of the playing time at center field.
Well, if he got a -28 rating from just not throwing the ball, what would Bernie Williams have had back in the day?
That's a good point.
Because he never threw the ball. Stats and all these things they have now are just, it's incredible. And you can get to be the worst player on defense in the entire major leagues from just not throwing runners out or not throwing the ball. Maybe because he plays deep. I don't know, whatever it is. I think that's a little crazy of that's a crazy stat right there.
Well, Kuhl has gone right at Grichuk with fastballs. Did that the first time as he struck him out. His lone strikeout tonight. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Very deep in center, McCutchen. Kuhl is from Delaware. Pitched at the University of Delaware before he became a 9th round pick by the Pirates in 2013. There have been 53 major league players from Delaware. Only 2 active. As Grichuk strikes out, Kuhl being one, and the other being Paul Goldschmidt. Cardinals hitting coach John Mabry is from Wilmington. Choose from a classic Coke, wild cherry, raspberry. Stay cool this summer with new frozen drinks from McDonald's. Brings in Yadier Molina. Grounded into a fielder's choice first time up. Juno the count with 2 outs and nobody on. Molina diving, stop by Freese, gets up, throws a strike over to Josh Bell, and he robs Yadier Molina. He had a play last night that he had to come in on and bare hand. It was terrific. And this stop by Freese takes an extra base hit away. 1-0 Cardinals as we head to the 5th. All right, Sarah, thank you. The Yankees at 9-4 and tied with Houston for the best record in baseball. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Josh Bell, underway here in inning number 5. How about Mike Leake to start this year? 19 innings and 1 run allowed.
It's been good. He's been consistent and he's been compact and he's kept the ball down. It was like that last year in spring training. He did a really good job of just moving the ball around, keeping it down and going. And then the season started, and I don't know if he tried to step on it a little bit and get a little bit better, or just a little bit of trouble or dead arm. This year, he's taken from spring training right into the season with the same exact stuff.
Also, increase in his slider and cutter. It's up by about 12-13%. He's got a lot of outs with that pitch. The 2-2. There it is again. Little cutter. Taken there by Martinez. It's another ground ball.
Does a really good job of just keeping the ball down, down, down. See all these pitches right here, except for that one, but still with some sink. Guys are hitting over the top of everything.
It's 10 ground ball outs from Mike Leake.
And I said infield's got to be excited about coming to the ballpark and playing today, because when you're playing defense, you want to get the ball. You don't just want to stand out there and watch a guy pitch. You want to get the ball and be a part of the game.
You know, I asked him about that on our most recent road trip. I said, when did this start for you, pitching so quickly? And he said, number one, I want to keep my defense engaged, which is what you're talking about. And he said, as a little leaguer, you'd play a game and, you know, 5 of the kids couldn't throw a strike. And then when they needed somebody to throw strikes, it was Leake. And he said, I would just get it, throw a fastball right down the middle. And he said, what I did learn, though, by pitching quickly, more plays were made behind me. And that's the way that he goes about his business. 2-1 on Jordy Mercer, single to left back in the third. This is 29th career start against the Pirates, most against any opponent, 9-5. He dominated Pittsburgh when he was with Cincinnati. Last year, faced the Pirates 4 times and had an ERA that was close to 6. The 2-2. And a fly ball lifted into right. Steven Piscotty puts it away for out number 2. Well, if you can't watch the games on television, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app, take Fox Sports Midwest and Cardinals baseball with you wherever you go. So 2 outs, and it brings in Cool. Strike 1.
You know, Danny, watching Mike pitch, I see a few things differently. The one thing that stands out to me is I'm seeing 93 every now and then, but I'm also seeing he's being aggressive with his body. He's working quickly, but he is going forward towards the plate with an aggression, which is keeping everything on rhythm, and the ball is just going down. And I think that 93 every now and then is there when he needs it, and that gets hitters' attention.
Here's the 0-2. The slider, and he struck him out. First strikeout for Mike Leake. Coming up, Martinez, Garcia, and Wong. Beautiful night here at Busch, and it's 1-0. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Jose Martinez leads it off for the Cardinals in the home half of the 5th. Martinez, Garcia, and Wong. Let me give you some of the averages for Martinez in the minor leagues. 306, 337, 319. Batting title AAA 384.
Why is he not in the big leagues the next year?
Or even a call up by Kansas City that year. That was the year they won the World Series. Did not get called up. Here's the 0-1 pitch. There it is. Base hit. Hung it. And Martinez rips it into center. From Jose Martinez to Carlos Martinez. His jersey is coming up for all kids 15 and younger. That's April 30th. Entering with a ticket. Receive the very own Carlos Martinez home white jersey. Compliments of Powerade and Shop and Save. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. See if the Cardinals want to start something here with maybe Greg Garcia. Martinez can run a little bit at first base.
Garcia would be the guy. He's the guy that can handle the bat. This spot in the order. There's nobody out. Get somebody moving. Get some, like I said, get something started. You know, you sometimes got to make your own momentum just by getting things in motion. And struggling to score runs, you never know. You just throw somebody in motion. Maybe a base hit here, first and third. Now you got a scoring opportunity with nobody out on a guy on third base.
Now Martinez is 6'7" and has a very short lead. It's about a 3-step lead. That's it. I would hope he'd be able to get back.
If he fell down, he'd be over the bag.
And a strike to even it up, and 1 ball and 1 strike.
You know, sometimes that's an uncomfortable spot out there at first base. You know, you don't want to distract the hitter. You don't want to be picked over because you don't want to go back and forth. You're not sure if you're going to run. You probably think you're not going to run. And then if you're going to run, you don't want to tip off so you don't get a bigger lead. There's a lot of things going on at first base.
That's ripped. Right center. That ball will get down. Martinez on his way to third. Chris Maloney waving him. He will score. Garcia to third, and he is out. But the run does score to make it 2-0 St. Louis.
Great job, Greg, here hitting the ball hard in the gap, and you weren't kidding. I was standing up here watching the field, not the monitor, and he was flying for a big guy. Garcia trying to make something happen. It's thrown out at third, but 2-0 Cardinals.
So the RBI double by Garcia, his second run driven in on the season, and it brings in Colton Wong. 1 ball and 1 strike. Cardinals really trying to push the issue there with Greg Garcia. Look at the power stats presented by Kubota. And we highlight the home runs hit this season. Only 3 in the first 6 games, 9 the last 7. And Wong is hit by the pitch. You like this play by Garcia? It's the first out, and it happens at third base.
You're not supposed to make the first out at third base, but I like the aggressiveness. What you don't see and what you don't realize is those are 2 perfect throws from Pittsburgh. The relay, the cutoff man, and then the relay to third. That doesn't happen all the time, and most of the time, as you know, we've talked about it, throwing the ball on the money will get you an out a lot better or a lot easier than overthrowing something or having a great arm. And they did a great job right there. That ball's all the way to the wall in right center field. Throw the ball to the farthest, almost the farthest part of the park, back to third base, and 2 perfect throws to get him out.
Now you could see in this combination maybe showing bunt then swinging. This time they're just going to drop down the bunt. Only play is to go to the bag at first. Wong advancing to second with 2 outs.
See, Andrew McCutchen makes a decent throw there, but the throw right here is right on the money to get the out. Did you see McCutchen drop his glove?
I did
a
see
little
it.
extra.
Yeah.
Not sure what was going on there, but
well, some of his reactions,
whatever it takes.
I don't know if you've seen it, but especially in the ball that was hit by Leak that he made a good play on. You know, he's playing with a little extra tonight.
He might be a little angry.
Yeah. Here's Fowler, who is tripled and also flied out to deep center.
I mean, I'll tell you what, being a center fielder, when you get pushed over into the corner, it's not a good feeling. I don't care if you're 40 years old, older, younger, whatever. When you're a center fielder, you take pride in what you do, or at least I did. Getting pushed to right field is not good. It's tougher. You don't see as much. It's a demotion. And it's embarrassing.
McCutchen was asked about the possibility the offseason of Pittsburgh trading him. And he went to their fan fest, which does show you a lot about the kind of guy that he is. Very, very nice man. And he said, I'm not going to lie, it hurts. He said, they want to trade me. Hasn't happened yet. I'm here to support the Pirates and the fans and sign autographs and be here. But you're asking me, am I bothered by it? Absolutely.
It's personal. Sometimes it's personal. Like I said, it's tough and embarrassing when you get demoted or getting talked about. I mean, he's got to take that stuff to heart. I mean, to be in the media that much and to say that the -28 or whatever it was and all these different things being talked about being traded, I went through it myself. It's tough. And you think that the team doesn't want you. And most of the time it's just maybe the media stirring it up a little bit because they're looking at pieces of the puzzle for the future. Sometimes you're the guy that makes the most sense even though it's not going to happen.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Dexter Fowler. Runner at second. And you're right, it's a guy that plays with a lot of pride. 4th all-time in Pirates history in home runs. MVP of the 2013 season. And all those years as a center fielder. Certainly the face of the franchise.
And I believe he was on the cover of one of the video games, which is a big deal for all of Major League Baseball a couple years ago. So very recognizable person. Like I said, you get pushed over after all that, it eats at you a little bit.
3-2 the count on Fowler. And it's a 2-out walk. That's a good sign too, just to see Fowler draw the walk.
It's something that he didn't do very well when he was struggling. Talking to Mabry that he went 6 at bats or 4 at bats with only seeing 6 pitches, and that's very unlike him. And that's something that he cannot allow himself to do. But that's, I wouldn't say panic, but that's an uncomfortable and uneasy situation at the plate where he's not really secure what he's doing, so he wants to try to get the first pitch and hit it and get it out of the way. And when you're not taking pitches like with that ability, you're not giving yourself the best chance to succeed.
So 2 on and 2 outs. And a fastball taken for a ball by Diaz. Outfield is deep. They are straight away for Aledmys Diaz. Now 0 for his last 16. See that Josh Bell, the first baseman, way off the line. Diaz pops it up. Harrison going out and makes the catch. So the Cardinals strand 2. They have left 3 on. We played 5, and it's 2-0. A one-of-a-kind Carlos Martinez and Matt Carpenter double bobblehead courtesy of SSM Health Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. Visit cardinals.com/promotions for more info. So for Mike Leake, it's 20 innings and just 1 run allowed to start this season. Last time a Cardinal has pitched that well to begin the year was 2003. Woody Williams went 19 2/3, no runs allowed. Last couple of years, it's just a handful of pitchers that have done what Mike Leake is doing this year. Irvin Santana, James Paxton, Kenta Maeda, Jordan Zimmerman did this, but that's it. So this is quite a run that he's on to start this year. He mentioned to me what you were talking about before, his body motion towards the plate off the glove of Diaz, and that probably would be a base hit for Frazier, who can run.
Yeah, I was talking about that body motion. Just in the windup, it's noticeable that he's more aggressive working towards the plate. As you see this last play, I think pretty tough play on Diaz right here, being up the middle a little bit, especially you said Frazier can run. But back to Mike Leake, being more aggressive has gotten him a little bit more snap, a little bit more going towards the plate, and it's noticeable. And he's got a little bit more life on his fastball. You can see even when hitters take the fastball or take the pitch, he's got a little sink right there at the end, and what that does is every time you go to square it up, it just gets below your barrel, and that's the ground ball. And then he's got a little sharper cut and break to the slider. And the thing I do notice, like I said, is just more aggressive with his body going towards the plate.
Josh Harrison is 0 for 2. And a fly ball lifted out to left. Grichuk is there to make the catch. First out here in the 6th. And it brings in McCutchen. The Pirates have a young player by the name of Austin Meadows, rated as the 7th best prospect in all of baseball. Outfielder, 21, but he's only hitting 162 in 10 games. To start the year at AAA. There was some talk that maybe they would bring him up with the suspension of Marte. We had a shot of McCutchen. There's a quick move and back in safely. And he made a catch and then started pointing to the ground as if he's at center field saying, "This is my spot. This is my spot." Cardinals taking a look to see if Frazier was picked off. So 10 seconds, and then part of that 10 seconds becomes 30 if the Cardinals did want to challenge. So 1 out and a runner at first. McCutchen, a base hit to center, is also grounded out to third. Little chopper and a fair ball just past Garcia. Off the sidewall, McCutchen on his way to second base. So runners at second and third, and only 1 out. So back in safely, and then this chopper that turns into 2.
Ball just gets over the bag. You can see it bounced in foul territory.
You see Garcia, he said, "No way."
Like, yeah, wait a second. Well, you can see his slide marks when you're sitting up here as a cross all the way into foul territory. So he's thinking, how is that even possible?
And that ball is not reviewable. Once it goes past the bag, it's then the third base umpire, his call. Here's Polanco. He was a pinch hitter last night, doubled after missing the previous 2 games with sore groin. He's coming off a career high 22 home runs a year ago.
This young man's going to be a superstar if he keeps progressing the way he has.
One ball and one strike. See Molina set up
way off the plate.
Yeah.
That ball he hit last night was off the plate by 5-6 inches, and he reached out there and hit it on the barrel. You don't think Yachty noticed that last night? Went back. Now today, when you got to get a ball out there, maybe try to get him to chase, you got to go a foot off the plate, knowing that he can reach that.
The 2-1. Sometimes TV, at least in my opinion, doesn't do justice to how big certain players are. And Polanco is 6'5".
That's the pitch I was telling you about. That ball's off the plate, and he barreled it into the gap.
The 3-1. Ground ball. Martinez will allow the run to score. Gets the out, and it makes it a 2-1 St. Louis lead.
It happens so much during the course of a year when not only players on the field, players in the dugout, the coaching staff will go upstairs to watch the monitor or the replay and say, okay, wait a second, where was that pitch? How did he hit that? I remember Gary Sheffield did a home run off of us in Atlanta to win a game, and the ball literally almost hit the ground, and he hit it so hard they were convinced that he's doing something wrong or his bat was corked, because there's no way anyone can hit the ball that hard 3 inches off the ground. But I mean, I'm watching Gary Sheffield my whole career saying that's just what he does. But guys will run up there all the time to look at the replay trying to figure it out, and then obviously Yachty making an adjustment.
I believe that home run, I remember that play, was Mike Crudell.
I think it was Dave Veers' fork ball.
That's right. That's right. Yep.
Is that one that I actually remembered that you don't? That is a record.
You should just take over.
I should not.
The 2-0 is hit to third, and Garcia makes the play in the stretch by Martinez. Pirates strand a runner, but they do pick up a run against Mike Leake, and it makes it 2-1 midway through 6. The 6th there at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. The Kia in the driver's seat. Last 5 games at Busch Stadium. Cardinals with 5 wins. They won 10 of the 19 matchups a year ago, and scoring nearly 6 runs a game.
was shaking his head because
Yeah,
he didn't know the answer of the question.
I didn't see what the question was.
I think he was still shaking his head because he could hear us talking and can't believe he didn't know the answer to the home
Dave
run
Beers.
question. Yeah.
Broken bat, and Piscotty is the first out here in the bottom of the 6th. Folks enjoying baseball here tonight. Randall Grichuk will dig in. He has struck out twice. Cool with 2 strikeouts on the night. Famous day in baseball history 30 years ago against these Pittsburgh Pirates. Mike Schmidt with career home run number 500. Michael Jack Schmidt. 27 members of the 500 home run club. The first 85 years, there were 14 players that got to 500. The last 21, there's been 13 players get to 500. Next closest, Miguel Cabrera. He's at 448. Albert Pujols is 8 shy of 600. Oh, 2 the count on Randall Grichuk.
Albert went from 5 to
2-2. Last night it was Ivan Nova, 8 innings, went the distance in a loss, but was very good. 2-2 pitch. A swing and a miss, and Grichuk strikes out for the 3rd time.
did a good job of laying off that slider down and away. You can see right here, just 96, struck out the last time 97. Such a good job of making a different attempt at the ball last night, and tonight it looks like he's gone back to a little bit of a longer swing, maybe because the velocity is overwhelming at some point, and you just try to do anything to catch up.
Molina on the first pitch, pops it foul.
It's hard making the adjustment during the season, you know, talking to those guys down there, trying to make the adjustment as your season's progressing, and then still trying to be able to go out and do your job. It's tough. It's really tough, and night in and night out, stay with it.
Popped up, foul territory, belly's over, it's playable. Then it's Harrison with the catch. So 1-2-3 go the Cardinals. We head to the 7th. Good ball game. It's 2-1. Against Mike Leake. Again, Starling Marte suspended by MLB today for 80 games, violating the drug policy. He'll lose about $2.5 million in salary. And also a part of this, too, he's ineligible for postseason play. So if the Pirates do make it to the playoffs, he could not play. And some around the ballpark. We're talking about stiffer punishment for those that do violate it. Always comes up, especially with the bigger name players, which hasn't happened in a while. One, you have a team trainer and the team doctor that you can ask about supplements if it's under baseball guidelines to take. And in terms of translation, it shouldn't be a problem for those that don't speak English, because every team, that language barrier has been taken away with translators. So it's a bad situation for the Pirates. 2 balls and no strikes.
Tough situation for both player and the organization. Now what do you do? Sometimes those contracts they give out have a little stipulation in there that might go backwards when you get caught for doing something like this. It's, I mean, I feel bad. I feel bad in both ways. I think to myself that, for one, how can you in this day and age try something that you're not sure of? Or two, was he misinformed, or did somebody talk him into trying something? Hopefully not.
Another ground ball out. 13 ground ball outs for Mike Leake. The State Farm perfect pair last night. Lance Lynn, the starter for the Cardinals. Tonight, Mike Leake. Lance went 7 and Leake 6 1/3. Brett Cecil starts to throw in the pen. 2-0 the count. Famous day in Cardinals history 30 years ago tonight. The famous seat cushion walk-off. The promotion was seat cushions. Cardinals win it. They start throwing them everywhere. The fans do. And then there was another version of that in 06 against the Cleveland Indians, which snapped a long losing skid by your club. And that was a seat cushion night. Under the glove of Diaz and into left. You'll see that on the postgame show, I believe.
Quite a sight to see. It's on a couple of the highlights, I think, during the course of the day. And
yeah, here at the ballpark.
Yeah, we had something like that in Anaheim. They threw a bunch of stuff on the field when I was a kid. I was like, what the heck?
You don't have a lot of baseball giveaways anymore.
No, it's anything that you can throw onto the field. Bobbleheads don't fly far enough.
No. Gloves are kind of soft. It's okay there. Here's Jordy Mercer. Line drive and a base hit into center. And with Jaso coming up, we'll see if Mike Matheny does indeed want to go to his bullpen. Mike Leake at 95 pitches. He may want that lefty-lefty matchup. Jaso has been introduced and announced here at the ballpark, and the Cardinals will turn to Brett Cecil. This will be the Chevy call to the pen, and Mike Leake's about to get a very nice ovation here at Busch Stadium. Cardinals bullpen, the ERA is 7.18, which is at the bottom of Major League Baseball. And left-handed hitters have really gotten to the Cardinals pen to the tune of a 4.08 average. So that needs to change for this club to have success, and that means Brett Cecil, as you get a look at his Hyundai pitch arsenal. So Jaso is pulled back. Here's Jose Ozuna, who was just called up from AAA Indianapolis to replace Marte on the roster.
I think that when you come out of the dugout, you know who's in the other dugout, and your choice is have Jaso face Mike Leake, or right here with Ozuna facing Cecil. And I think they weigh the options and go with whatever matchup they think is the best.
Cecil's velocity has been a tick or two down to start this year, as it goes to 2 balls and no strikes. The Cardinals signed him. The idea was not only lefties, but they felt he could get righties out too. So if this situation would pop up where Jaso's announced, then pull back, right-hander comes up, he'd be able to handle these kind of spots. The 2-0 pitch. The Cardinals lead this game 2-1, but they've been out-hit 7-3.
Been a little bit of the story this year so far, talking about manufacturing runs somehow. Now, right now, you got to shut down the runs from being scored.
The 2-1. Ground ball that's hit to short. Diaz. The turn. Double play. The Cardinals needed that. And boy, did Brett Cecil need that too. 6-4-3 on the double play. And it's time to stretch. Dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. Both starters now out of the game. And a lefty is in for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Wade LeBlanc, and this is our Chevy call to the pen. LeBlanc will face Martinez, Garcia, and Wong. So 2 of the 3 hitting from the left side. They have 4 lefties in their pen. Tony Watson is their closer after they traded away Mark Melancon last year. So Martinez the base hit and run scored back in the 5th, extending his hitting streak to 6 games. A 2-1 ball game here in the bottom of the 7th. And the first pitch is a strike. One and one. LeBlanc from Lake Charles, Louisiana, 6'3", 210-pounder. Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Self-defense, one away.
I don't even know if you call that self-defense. That was just sticking your glove out, and it went in the glove.
You're right.
Just, uh-oh. If that ball was a foot higher, he doesn't catch it.
It's like Jake Allen the last couple of games. Blues goaltender. LeBlanc has pitched with San Diego. That's when he broke into the big leagues in 2008. Miami, Houston, the Angels, the Yankees, Seattle, and now Pittsburgh. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Greg Garcia in our Hyundai pitch arsenal. And does that surprise you there that you have a lefty coming out of the pen and it's throwing a curveball only 3.9% of the time?
A little bit, but I think the curveball's kind of gone away a little bit. You guys are throwing all these cutters and the slider, trying to keep it tight. I think that the cutter and the slider can be commanded a little bit better. Less break, doesn't slip out of your hand as much. Probably a little bit more comfortable in these situations where you don't want to hang something. You see primarily a lot of pitchers will throw certain pitches to right-handers and then certain pitches to left-handers. So, you know, that changeup would be against the right-handers, maybe the slider to a lefty. Sometimes they don't want to throw that breaking ball in there because they got more confidence with those other two pitches other than the fastball.
We say when you come to the ballpark, you bring your glove. If you're a fan, if you're Adam Wainwright, the hat will do just fine.
A la Tony La Russa.
Now, Tony used to always clean up the dugout too, right?
I used to make fun of him for always throwing his hat out there, but one of those guys figured it out.
Always have a shot of Tony kicking the sunflower seeds and some of the gum. The cups.
Then other guys would go right behind him and mess it all back up again.
The 2-2 pitch to Garcia. Inside, 3-2. RBI double to right center back in inning number 5 and also grounded out to third.
Change up to a lefty you don't see very often. Starting to become more and more a pitch in this league. Guys on the same side starting to throw that change up on the inside half of the plate.
And he strikes out Garcia. So he's got the first 2. And it brings in Colton Wong. With the Cardinals leading by a run, you get late innings and you have this lefty on the mound. The temptation would be, well, let's look at Jed Jerko or Johnny Peralta, but I think the Cardinals want to stick with what they feel maybe is their best team defensively. Wong is aboard with a bunt base hit. And now we'll see the aforementioned Jed Jerko.
Tell you what, when you're struggling, sometimes getting that home run gets you started. Sometimes you need just a little base hit. This ball couldn't have been placed more perfectly. No chance for anyone to get to Colton Wong right there. They got an opportunity right here to do what Gritzik did last night. Make a little something happen. Now I know there's 2 outs, but you just never know. Got some speed on the bases. Even though there's a lefty on the hill, you could cause a little havoc. Kind of get them off their game. Maybe you get them to hang a pitch to Jerko. 2-run homer in the books.
This is why the Cardinals off-season of 2 years ago brought in Jed Jerko. You're thinking late innings, lefty on the mound, pinch hit, do damage.
He's down there on the field today when these guys are taking batting practice, and he's got some pop for not an oversized guy.
The first pitch to him. Matt Bowman is getting loose in the pen. Cardinals are going to be very cautious with Trevor Rosenthal in terms of back-to-back games, how much he pitches early on. Now time is called. Mike Matheny was even asked about Rosenthal before the game, and he said, yeah, right now he's moving back into that setup role to where if we need him in the 8th, that's our guy.
Been impressive the last couple outings. Velocity is at the top. Good tight slider.
He's already had 10 fastballs over 100 miles an hour this year. Jerko, ground ball that's hit to second, taken there by Harrison. We move to the 8th. Matt Bowman coming on when we come back in a 2-1 ball game. Is in. And Cincinnati started play with a half-game lead. One of the pleasant surprises of Major League Baseball. A team that, quote-unquote, is rebuilding, but yet middle of that lineup, they could do some damage.
I don't know if you remember, but we talked about that when they were in town. Quite an impressive group of young players.
David Freese fans stand the man, part of the great history here in St. Louis. Adam Frazier, top of the lineup, then Harrison and McCutchen. 8th inning, 2-1 our score. Cardinals again with only 4 base hits tonight. And the first pitch to Frazier is a strike. This really gives you an idea of the role of Matt Bowman and the importance that is starting to grow with that role, as he's become one of the reliable pitchers the Cardinals have out of that bullpen, which has been much maligned to start this year.
Get that trust in the manager. You get to pitch in more games, get to show off what you got. Like you said, all of a sudden you're in a 8th inning, 1-run ball game.
A changeup and a good one. 1-2 the count. He pitched on Sunday, went an inning and a third against the Yankees. No hits, no runs. Walked 1 and struck out 1. The 1-2 pitch. And a grounder that's pulled foul. You look at how the season has gone for Mike Leake thus far. Very easily could be 3-0. Win tonight would make him 2-1. He had 8 innings and only 2 hits allowed against Cincinnati in his first start of the year. And again, very good here tonight. The 1-2 pitch to Adam Frazier. The 2-2. Same pitch, doesn't get the call. Plaza tire service just off the inside portion of the plate.
It's amazing how much further that ball looks inside when you show you the Fox tracks than when you're watching it on TV.
On a hop to second, Wong with it, and he makes the play. Gold plays with a little flair out there.
Well, I think the play made him. And you saw him grab his chest. Every now and then, that ball gets to you a little bit quicker than you expect. Rubbed his chest after that. You see the ball hop up on him right here.
Oh, yeah.
And that ball catches the heel of the glove and his chest at the same time. That'll leave a mark.
Ouch.
He might have a little spot there at the end of the game.
Here's Josh Harrison. Hitless tonight in 3 plate appearances and looks at ball 1.
Never fun when you take off your uniform at the end of a game and you have seam marks either on your wrist, chest, knee.
Rob Manfred's autograph.
I'll tell you what, you think I'm kidding. Sometimes when you get hit with the ball, even out there in the outfield, you can actually see the seams in your skin.
You probably saw that maybe more on your wrist and forearm.
Yeah, you get it. You know, as an outfielder, the ball obviously still gets to you pretty quick, and sometimes you get a funky hop or ball's bouncing in that grass, and you have to block it, obviously, and sometimes the ball will hop up and hit you just above the glove on your wrist, and because there's no fat there, you just get seam bruises.
And a base hit with 1 out. Here at the top of the 8th, and the tying run is on. Brings in McCutchen, who is 2 for 3. As we said before, it seems like McCutchen's trying to make a statement here tonight.
Either that or he's fired up and a little bit more effort. Thought he looked good last night. To be honest with you, he swung the bat well. He didn't look any different than we usually see him.
One out and a runner at first, and Harrison, that's good speed there. Greg Garcia is on the line at third. And remember, last time up, it was just past Garcia. A ball that turned into a double on a diving play. He's about 1, maybe 2 or 3 steps off the line. No balls and 1 strike.
You see him look around right there to see where everybody's playing. 1, maybe looking down at third base to see if he can drop a bunt, because I think Bowman's tough on righties. 2, maybe he thinks that if you see everybody swung around to pull, that he's going to get some fastballs inside.
The 0-1. He pulls it foul. No balls and 2 strikes.
When I was hitting, if I would look up and see the left or the second baseman over closer to second base bag, I would think they were going to pitch me away, thinking I was going to bounce something up the middle. If you see him over in the hole closer to first base, you know they're going to either challenge you or throw you some soft stuff that you're going to roll over. So that works if you pay attention to how they're playing defense against you.
The 0-2 pitch. Infield is swung to the left side, and that's kept in front by Yadi. Even with 2 strikes, Wong has gotten closer to the bag at second. Again, Garcia right on the line at third.
He hits a lot of balls up the middle. That ball that even he hit off the end of the bat earlier, just dead up the middle. Keep an eye on that. He doesn't probably squirt the ball through the right side of the hole very often. And you got Matt Bowman, like I said, sinker slider, sometimes the changeup.
The 1-2. There's your changeup and a ground ball. And they just get Harrison by a step. Now do you go to Kevin Segras to face Polanco? He had been throwing in the bullpen. If McCutchen had reached, you probably would have seen Segras.
For sure. I think that would have definitely been the call here, and now I think the call will be to be careful with him, but don't forget you also have David Freese on deck, and I think he's had some pretty good at bats even though he's only 1 for 3. Kind of has a thing against the Cardinals, so that doesn't lie either. You got to be careful who you're facing in big situations. We all know what David Freese can do with the game on the line.
So 2 outs, runner at first now. McCutchen. First pitch to Polanco. Fastball and strike 1.
You look at these matchups when you're playing defense, and it scares me to think that Matt Bowman's going to throw sliders, or I'm sorry, sinkers away from a guy like Gregory Polanco with such that long reach that we had talked about earlier, because if he throws one that stays up and out over the plate, he can just kind of let his hands go. When I'm watching, I'm kind of worried watching to see if he's going to pitch him inside. He's going to go off speed. See if he's got a changeup right here down. That's why I love Yadi so much, because he's got such a good idea of what he can do and what he wants to do with each one of his pitchers.
The reason you think about a lefty against Polanco since the start of last year, hitting just 194, at least his on base percentage 194. But Bowman has him at 0-2.
Still got to be careful. Trying to go with the fastball. It's funny, you don't know much about Polanco, but all you need to know is you saw those 2 swings that he took where he can cover so much of the plate.
The 0-2. Elevated the 0-2 pitch. Ball 1.
It's a really good idea right here by Yadi. I think this is a big at bat. Even though he's got the count in his control 1-2, you still don't want to make a mistake to a player like this. Like I said, the guy on deck is no treat either in the situation right here with the game on the line. So pick your poison, but also make sure you're paying attention to the pitch selection that you make, and with conviction you have to throw it like it was called.
The 1-2. Got him. Strikeout for Bowman. And another scoreless inning for Matt Bowman. right-handers. Garrett Cole against Michael Wacha. And we'll come your way tomorrow at noon. This brief homestand then will wrap up. And the Cardinals head to Milwaukee for the first of 4 beginning on Thursday. The top of the lineup for St. Louis and Dexter Fowler. He's tripled and scored tonight, also walked and fly to deep center. There's strike one. Michael Wacha, the month of April, healthy, shoulder feeling good, is sensational in his career. 9-4 with an ERA just above 2 in April. One ball and one strike. Fowler on a hop to Harrison, backhands and makes the play, the stretch. We'll see if the Cardinals want to take a look at that or ask for the replay if indeed Bell was on the bag. He stayed on the bag, and there's one away. Not sure if LeBlanc got a little piece of that too with his glove and then realized let it go because of the positioning of his defense.
And also that ball that wasn't hit really hard. It looked like it came off the bat like a changeup, kind of got inside a little bit on him. Get that glove out of the way. We're talking about positioning. Stayed, got his hands so far in. Actually had some spin going back towards the infielder. Just hit a couple balls pretty good last night. Got nothing to show for it. Starting to turn it around though. I like what I see.
A ball and a strike on Aledmys Diaz. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Good changeup again, and I'm way out in front. Talked to Clint Hurdle a while back, and he said when they went on this run of getting into postseason for 3 consecutive years, he was not a guy that was wanting to change with defensive strategies, and in particular shifting. And the Pirates said, and he told us point blank, I'm in the final year of my contract. We're not winning. If this is going to help us, if we think this may win, we're going to have a defensive shift. Here's a 1-2. And so what they've done is that they travel a sabermetrics coach, if you will. So he travels and he said, look, some of the players don't like to hear from me about the shifting. So I'm going to have this coach explain it to him as to why the numbers say to position particular guys where we go. And they became one of the teams that shift the most in Major League Baseball. And now he says, I'm completely bought in. I'm in.
Well, I think that's a good idea. Is if you're going to change the way the game is played a little bit, at least give the reason why. Now, if you can explain that to guys, yeah, for sure they're going to listen. But if you're just telling what normally happened, we're going to shift this guy because he does this. Well, I mean, you know, the pitchers are maybe not on board, or
exactly.
The guys are not on board, and then the shift doesn't work. So the explanation is to get your whole team involved, and then everyone's buying into it. Your pitcher makes the pitch that he needs to instead of worrying about it, and it totally changes the complexion of why you're doing that shift.
3-2 pitch. Rounder to David Freese. Out number 2.
Nothing worse than a guy rolling over a ball and hitting it where a guy used to be, and then you have the shortstop saying what the heck, the pitcher not happy,
right,
and the outfielders are like what's going on, but yet you're playing a shift. So everybody's got to be on the same page, or as a team you're going to suffer.
Just saw the shot of Seung-Hwan Oh, Cardinals closer, and he will have the top of the 9th. And a fly ball lifted down the left field line, foul off the bat of Piscotty. Again, they are pitching him in.
This is something that they did against Albert a lot, was what they just forced him to get out of his comfort zone. You can see how far that ball's inside. That's a pitch that you normally wouldn't swing at. The problem with being pitched in so much is you get frustrated and you try to get too big, and then you lose where the strike zone is because you're trying to be overly aggressive. And that's something, and I'm telling you, back when Albert was here, they did it to him and it got him off his game plan, and he struggled for about 3 weeks. And it was all because the Pittsburgh Pirates pitched him in the first week of the season. And you can see also pitching in, get you a little over aggressive, and then the changeup right there, way out in front. Crazy what the inside fastball can do to you as a hitter mentally.
0-2 the count. And a fly ball lifted down the right field line. Long way to go, and a foul ball. Again, by just a few feet.
There was times in hitters meetings when you're sitting around in a big circle and they're talking about the pitcher that night, and I would say to myself, please do not say fastball in to anyone. He would completely screw up the entire day. Even if he throws it, I don't want to know.
Cardinals recorded their first save of the year yesterday. What was their 13th game of the season. Last time St. Louis failed to record a save in their first 12 games, 1980. Long time ago. The 0-2 pitch. I think what you're talking about, Jimmy, this at bat has been a perfect example. In, soft away, a little over aggressive like you talked about. Get him off balance.
You have to be able to throw it in there more than once in an at bat and throw it in there for a strike once in a while. You can't just go in off the plate and then back away and then slider and then in off the plate. You got to get the respect of the hitter knowing you could throw a strike in there.
Threw him a changeup. Seung-Hwan Oh. Shaky the start of this season. We'll try to close it out when we come back. Post-game show. It's our Chevy call to the pen. A shaky start, and this is what I mean. He's allowed at least one run in 4 of his 5 appearances. O has this year. Compared to last year, he had 76 appearances. 62 of those unscored upon, as he posted a 1.92 ERA. Cardinals trying to hold on. It's 2-1. David Freese at the plate. Fastball and a strike. The key with O, deception And obviously a wipeout slider went right. The 0-1. There's the slider, and he went 0-2.
And that's the slider that he needs right there. I think has been missing from what we've seen of him early on in the year, and hopefully he just gets right, gets that slider back with a little bit of life on that fastball.
Here's the 0-2. The Cardinals had 5 hits last night, won the game. Tonight they have 4 and they lead 2-1.
Whatever it takes, Danny.
Yep. The 1-2 pitch. Inside fastball to David Freese. Has a double tonight to right center, 1 for 3. And the 1-2 again. 2-2. The 2-2 pitch. Stays away from the slider, 3-2. David has made himself a real tough at bat, hasn't he?
Yeah, I'm not liking that look he's throwing out there right now either. He's seeing that slider. He's done a really good job of taking some tough pitches tonight and last night.
3-2 pitch. Slider. Deep in the hole. Diaz from his knees and save at first. Hopping out of the dugout, Mike Matheny. What a play there by Aledmys Diaz just to make that close.
That's a different David Freese running down the first base
Sure
line,
is.
isn't it?
Good point, Jimmy. I mean, he's really moved well in this series. Clearly safe. You know, the play that he came in on last night, diving stop earlier in the game tonight. And now Alan Hansen is off the bench to pinch run for David Freese. It brings in Cervelli. He's trying to get the attention of the third base coach. David Freese now 33. He'll turn 34 later this month.
Still got a lot of baseball ahead of him, especially moving like that.
I mean, he looks night and day different running. So the infield base hit brings in Cervelli. Hansen in the minor leagues. A lot of years in which he had 30 or more stolen bases.
See if we can take a look at what they're thinking about.
One pitch. Cardinals have turned one double play that was back in the 7th. The 1-1. Base hit into right. And the first two have reached against O.
Take that slider. Looks like it's off the plate. See, he just stays with it, stays inside it, doesn't try to do too much. Slaps it into right field, and that ball's elevated a little bit, allows him to just kind of put the bat on it. That ball's down a little bit. I'd have a chance for a ground ball to the second baseman for a double play.
It brings in Josh Bell. This has been the better side of the plate for him. A switch hitter. Came in 1 for 14 from the right side, but 273 from this side of the plate. Runners at first and second, and the corners are in. No activity in the Cardinals pen. That would lead you to believe Rosenthal is off limits. You know, O has been shaky, and many times in spots like this, if a reliever is not getting the job done, whether it's a starter or rather a reliever that's closing games out or not, somebody's up and throwing. Oh, 0-2. Pitch number 13 of the inning. 0-2. Jammed him, and it's out of play. Cardinals use Cecil. He induced a double play to end the 7th. Bowman a scoreless 8th. Cardinals trying to hold on for Mike Leake. Inside. 1-2 the count.
I'll tell you what's impressive about Josh Bell I've been watching is he takes that big swing early in the count. For being only 24 years old, he slowly cuts down his swing to make an adjustment. Looks like he's taking a shot at having a big swing early, and then he's took some really big long swings and then really cut it down, try to put the ball in play, but I'm sure he's got plenty of power still with 2 strikes. See, he's choked up on the bat a little bit.
Two and 2 the count. The next two, Bell. Full count. That's about the most emotion you'll get out of O. Slight staring back at the home plate umpire.
Like I said, it looks great on TV, but if you show the box tracks, thinking O just wanted that pitch right there to help him get out of this jam.
Anxious moments here at the ballpark. 2 on, nobody out. 1-run lead. And a 3-2 pitch. Bell, check swing, he went. Strikeout. The Pirates dugout is letting Gary Cederstrom hear
Definitely
huge
went
strikeout.
around. Huge strikeout. Definitely went around, and 9 times out of 10, the umpire is right.
Brings in Jordy Mercer. Mercer, 2 hits tonight. The slider is in there for strike 1.
Now the double play would be nice.
Mercer chokes up on the bat. No balls, 1 strike. "20 pitches here in the inning. Short turnaround tomorrow." Right now, Mike Matheny not worried about that and the availability of O. He wants to see him get this saved. The 1-1 pitch. Instead, steps off the pitching rubber. Garcia over, and that's out of play. 1-2. Turn to our Budweiser player of the game, regardless how this turns out. Again, Mike Leake, very good. 6 1/3, 7 hits, no walks again, 1 strikeout, and gave up 1 run. The 1-2 pitch. Slow roller, right side, Martinez to O, and out. And the Pirates will take a look at this one. Clint Hurdle calling for the attention of the umpires to take a look. Oh boy. I think he's safe.
It's a tough angle too. I don't know if you can actually call him safe on that angle. Hope they got a better one.
They see it here. He's safe. I think the Pirates are going to have the bases loaded and only 1 out. At the video replay center in New York, they can enhance that too and blow the picture up and see it. It's an umpiring crew that is in New York. Oh, stutter step slightly at the end. The crowd now seeing the reaction, the video board here at the ballpark.
He's safe. You got to give a lot of credit to Mercer, because that's a routine play, and he busted it down the line all the way to the bag.
Bases loaded. Left on the bench for the Pirates, Phil Gosselin. He will hit here, and the backup catcher Chris Stewart. And with that, Tony Watson starts to throw, the closer for the Pirates in their pen. And the Cardinals, no one throwing yet. Now Segrist is getting a baseball, and this is the second time that he's been up. So the base is loaded, 1 out here in the top of the 9th. Corners are in. First pitch to Goslin. Good slider. Strike one. The defense at times a year ago betrayed the Cardinals. And that play, as you mentioned, routine, that should be 2 outs.
We'd like to say it's got to be 2 outs.
0-1 pitch. Back to O. To Molina for the out. And he nearly threw it away. 2 down. And the bases remain loaded. Guy that makes a living on pinpoint control and threw one to the ankles of Yadier Molina.
How many times have you seen it?
Oh yeah,
pitcher having to make that throw anywhere on the field. Is it? You throw enough pitches, your arm is going 60 feet 6 inches at a full rate. You come slower, closer, go to first. It's tough.
Crowd on their feet. Frazier at the plate. Strike one. One pitch. Now 0-2. Frazier had an infield hit back in the 6th, and the Pirates down to their final strike. The 0-2. You saw the speed of Mercer beating out that play at first base. He's your runner at second. Something to keep in mind. He runs pretty well. The 1-2. Fly ball. Grichuk. He is there, and the Cardinals somehow, some way, escape with a 2-1 win.
Danny, that's a really big win right there, I think. You get not a whole lot of offense. You still get the runs on the board that you need. You get tested at the end, and you come through with a win. I think that's a big win for the Cardinals. Sets up something for tomorrow, but look for this team to play a little bit better at home. Start getting back on track.
On to the post-game show. The Cardinals hold on. Woo, says O. 2-1 the final.